now is Louisiana's Republican governor and the author of this new plan, the Freedom and Empowerment Health Plan. Governor Bobby Jindal. Governor Jindal, good morning to you. And by the way, kudos. There are not a lot of people putting out plans these days, so kudos to you for doing that.
Well, Chuck, thank you and good morning. Thank you for having me. And I agree with you. Look, there are a lot of Republicans in Washington who think we can just run against Obamacare between now and November, and I think that's a mistake. I think we have to tell the American people what we're for. I'm certainly for repealing the Obamacare law, but I think we need to show the American people we've got a better plan to lower health care costs and do what the president promised he was going to do in 2008.
Well, let's dig into your plan, because you look at it, and in many ways, you would shake up the health insurance market even more than President Obama's plan on this one big key component here, which is this idea of the health benefits, health insurance benefits that we get if you get health insurance with a company. The company right now gets a tax deduction. The individual does not. You would make the health benefit taxable income for the individual and replace it with a deduction for the individual. And I understand that, but over time, doesn't that disincentivize companies to even provide health insurance?
No, Chuck, I'd actually argue that what we're doing is what the president said in 08. Remember, he said in 08 when he was opposing the mandate that Senator Clinton proposed, he talked about wanting to bend the cost curve down, that providing a standard deduction does a couple of things. One, it provides fairness in our tax code. Right now, if you try to buy health care away from your employer, you're using tax disadvantage, post-tax dollars, whereas if you get your health care through your employer, now you get tax advantage dollars. Let's make that fairer so that folks now, if they change jobs, if they leave their jobs, they can keep their health care. And we do other things to help them keep their health care, like, for example...
Well, let me stop you there, though.
Sure.
This is where, I'm going through this, it seems like you're trying to come up with a way to help the 10 million people on the individual market, say 5 to 10 million, they're about 5 million right now on the individual market from before, by changing the way some 100 million people get health insurance.
Well, no, but the reality is right now there are a lot of people that are job locked that can't move across state lines. We want to help them, but also we want to help the folks that have employer-provided coverage. The idea is if you set the deduction high enough up front, this is not going to be as disruptive to the employer market as actually Obamacare is. The real concern is under Obamacare. You saw the study that came out this week, the thousands of dollars this will cost employers per employee. I think you're going to see more and more employers having to drop coverage facing with the mandates and the high cost under Obamacare. We're actually trying to stabilize the employer-provided coverage, but giving folks a voluntary, more gradual transition, giving them the choice. And this is really about giving individuals more choices, saying if you want to buy health care through your employer, you can continue to do that with a generous deduction. If you want to buy that now through a multi-state purchasing pool, if you want to buy it through your church, your unions, whatever, social organizations, you can do that through association plans as well. We also want to improve the individual insurance market, so if folks want to buy through that market, if you combine the state incentives with the standard deduction, earlier estimates have estimated this would bring down the cost of insurance for an average family in the individual market by approximately $5,000 compared to where we are today. So it actually reduces the cost of insurance, gives more power, more choice to the consumers without disrupting the employer-provided health insurance market. And I think in the short term, most people that are in the employer-provided market will continue to get their health care coverage through their employers. But over time, this gives them more choices. And it also gives them an incentive. If they choose more efficient coverage, they can keep their dollars, that standard deduction, they get to keep those dollars in their pocket.
You're hoping that over time that we've decoupled insurance from employers.
I think over time we need to
that's what you're hoping your plan would do, which is essentially get rid of employer-provided insurance.
Well, no, it's not. Chuck's not getting rid of it. It's giving individuals more choices.
Well, you're certainly disincentivizing companies to do it, is what you're saying.
Not at all.
You're getting rid of the incentives.
Look, it continues to be, the company's expenditures on health care continue to be deductible on their taxes. For the individual, they continue to get a generous standard deduction. But the idea is that over time, you do want to give individuals one, an incentive to get more efficient health care by allowing them to keep the difference, but secondly, to give them more choices. It shouldn't be that you can only get health care, affordable health care through your employer or if you're healthy. And the president was right to say before, in 2008, before Obamacare, that there are problems in the individual insurance market for those with pre-existing conditions, with those that can't afford it. But what he was wrong was trying to force everybody into a government-mandated system with a lot of bureaucracy and higher taxes. What we're saying is, let's give individuals more choices.
All right, I'm going to have a lot more on that interview. We didn't want to cut it short. We've got literally another 6 minutes of it. We will have more of that tomorrow. Pre-existing conditions, his ideas on what to do with Medicare and Medicaid, all of that tomorrow.